All right. I had someone tell me they think the Rams are sneaky contenders, like dark horse. Are we? The Rams played well. The Rams played really well. They won 27-9 over a 14-win team. The Rams are not dark horse contenders. The Eagles are better than the Rams. The Lions are better than the Rams. They won't make it out of the NFC. Let's say even if they did. Do you think the Rams would beat the Ravens, the Bills, or the Chiefs? But Ryan, you said. You didn't say the Rams were worse than the Commanders or Texans. That's because I think they could beat them. Do you believe that they will end up facing the Commanders or Texans? They couldn't face the Commanders in the Super Bowl. But do you believe the Rams-Texans is our destined Super Bowl? I hope not. Because I don't think that's a likely one. Anyways, it was a big win for the Rams. Very, very nice moment, obviously, with everything going out in LA. So it was nice for the LA team to get a win. It was a little weird that the Chargers didn't win. And you know what? Let's just talk about that. So the Texans kind of smacked the Chargers. And it's not like CJ played incredible, but he definitely outplayed Herbert. Herbert threw 3 interceptions all season, and then in that game threw 4. And so it's really kind of getting rough as a Herbert guy. I'm starting to think maybe it's not coaching, right? Maybe it is the fact that Herbert just isn't as good as I think he is. I think last year is his last chance to show me that he's as good as I think he is. If they go out and they get T. Higgins or Garrett Wilson or some big wide receiver this offseason, next year is the final straw. Are you really as good as I think you are? That's it. I'm making a decision. And you're like, oh, well, if in 2031 Herbert finally gets done winning Super Bowl, it's like, okay, well, maybe I was right about you, but it took you 10 years longer than I thought it would, And it's like, I'm not going to keep propping him up every year and keep saying, oh, he can do this, he can do that, they're going to be a real contender, blah, 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 if he's not playing up to the level that he needs to. And so I'm done propping him up. Next year is his last chance to prove me right, because Drake May, to me, is showing me everything I think Justin Herbert is. Drake May is doing everything I wanted Justin Herbert to be doing. And I know, obviously, Drake May's on a worse team, but Drake May just got Mike Vrabel. Really like that signing there, and I think that's going to be a really fun team next year. It's interesting to see what the Pats will do with the 4 pick. They still might be able to get Travis Hunter at that spot. And I think Vrabel and Drake May are going to have immense success together. I think they probably will be the second best team in that division next year. I don't think that's a crazy statement. I don't think the Jets are going to get back on track anytime soon. I think the Dolphins are going to get worse next year. And realistically, it's Bills-Pats are the top 2 teams in that division. Obviously, Bills are probably going to win it next year. I would bet lots of money they do, but the Pats could really be the second in that division and potentially fight for a wild card spot. So that's big for the Pats. And speaking of wild card spots and division winners, if the NFL gets rid of the division winners automatically having the higher seeds, I think it'd be the stupidest thing. I like that the NFL and the divisions actually matter. There is no reason to make it like the NBA where the divisions do not matter. I think it's stupid. I think you'd lose a lot of rivalries. I really do. Because it makes divisional games matter more when you know if you win your division, you're automatically in the playoffs. It really does make them matter more. And it makes people care about them more, and it creates stronger rivalries. And I think the NFL is really special that way, and I really, really, really hope they don't get rid of it. I think that would be incredibly stupid from them to do that. I understand there's some fans that want that, but I think those fans are wrong. I'm not even going to try to be nice here. I think it's really dumb. I understand the fact that it's wow, the Packers went 11-7, and well, it would be 11-6. Sorry, the Packers went 11-6 and had to be the 7th seed and play the 2 seed. Well, guess what? The NFC had a lot of good records. So I understand, and it's the Vikings, they should have been the 2 seed. They should have been the 2 seed. Well, guess what? I don't care who they played. They were getting beat. Packers would have beat them if the Vikings were the 2 seed. I can tell you that right now. Vikings looks awful. They looked awful. I mean, it couldn't have worked out any better for J.J. McCarthy. I'm very excited to see what he can do there next year. I think they will be very good next year. I don't know if they're going to be 14 wins good. I mean, they just vastly overperformed this year. People are going to be more prepared for them next year. You have to wonder if Brian Flores will even still be on the staff. He might be a head coach somewhere else. Would love to see him get a head coaching opportunity somewhere. But I think next year they're going to be interesting. They could, I don't know if they'll, I mean, they're not going to hit 14 wins again, but I could very much see them once again getting a double-digit win total with J.J. McCarthy. I really think J.J. is going to play well there. I'm really excited to watch J.J. there next year. They will be a frequent Sunday ticket team for me as I watch J.J. McCarthy's development because I think J.J. is going to do really well there. You guys know I've been high on J.J. since college, and I thought he was going to be a really, really strong NFL quarterback. Not an MVP winner guy, but somebody that in the right system will execute and you can win a Super Bowl with. Kind of like I would say like a better Brock Purdy type situation where it's like he's a system guy. He works in the system, but he can win you a Super Bowl. I mean, really just Brock Purdy, essentially. A lot of people are out on Brock Purdy right now because he played really bad without the guys, but we knew he was a system guy that, played really well within the system. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just when the system falls apart, clearly he's not going to play well. He's not, Matthew Stafford. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not Joe Burrow. He's not these guys who can just elevate talent. Obviously, Mahomes and Allen, too, I think some people would try to say Stafford is a system guy, but I think you look at the fact he still killed it in Detroit. Didn't win a lot of games, but obviously really played his heart out and, got incredible numbers, did great things there, and it wasn't like that was a great system. So I think Stafford deserves more than being a system quarterback label. Let's talk about Commies Bucks, a game that I really, really thought the Bucks would take care of business, but the Commies, once again, the cardiac Commies, that's what they are at this point. Once again, winning a close one. There's some people that have really been hyping up this Lions-Commies game. They're like, oh, this is going to be a good one. I think the Lions are going to smack them. I don't think it'll be close. I think the Lions know you don't want to be in a close game with this Commies team, and they're just going to take care of business, and they're going to smack them. I really don't think either of the Saturday games are going to be that interesting. I know the divisional round is probably the best round of the NFL playoffs, because it is. But I think this year we're going to have two games. I think the Saturday games, I don't think either of them are going to be any good. I really don't. I think that Texans team is in for a rude awakening against the Chiefs defense. And I think after this week, we're going to be looking back and going, regardless of what happens Sunday, we're going to look back and go, whoa, are we sure the Chiefs aren't winning the Super Bowl? And wow, can they beat the Lions? We're going to be really impressed with both the Chiefs and Lions, I think, after this weekend. And I just think we're getting a little too excited about the Commies. They're ahead of schedule. They're playing well, but I think Dan Campbell and company are going to take care of them. There are people taking the Vikings to beat this Lions team, and the Lions absolutely decimated them. And let me remind you, the Lions won 31-9. They can take care of business against this Commies team. I'm 100% sure of it. Packers, Eagles, I don't have really anything to say. It's about what you expected. Broncos, Bills. You got to love the fact that the Bills just kind of dominated them. They really didn't play around. Ravens, Steelers. If you're a fan, I don't want to spend much time on this because this is stupid. There is no reason the Steelers would ever move on from Tomlin. You look at that roster. He is making it overperform. I know people are like, look at the defense. Look at the talent he has. I honestly am starting to believe TJ Watt might be a little overrated. Obviously, he's an elite defensive player, but if you said edge rushers, I'm taking Myles Garrett and I'm taking Micah Parsons before him any day. I truly mean that. I know I have a lot of Steelers fans that listen to this, but I'm saying he has not played well these last few weeks. He needs to impress me next season. I think that Steelers defense is kind of overrated. I had a lot of Ravens fans. I know a couple Ravens fans. Not a lot of Ravens fans, I should rephrase. I know a couple Ravens fans that I mentioned Patrick Queen leaving them. They're like, yeah, we didn't really need him. He's overrated. Clearly didn't make that big of an impact on the Steelers defense because the Ravens just absolutely routed them, and that Ravens defense has really turned around. The Ravens have become very scary very quickly. A team that I was like, wow, they have no defense. It's best offense ever with Lamar's ever had, but no defense. Well, now that defense is really good, and it's going to lead into a really interesting game Sunday night, and I cannot wait for that. Chargers-Texans we already talked about, so we're good for that. I think we talked about all the games. That was quick. Before we get into divisional round, primetime picks, but it's obviously going to be longer than usual because I'm talking about every single game. I do want to say there's a rumor that, well, it's not even a rumor, it's a report. Deion Sanders being interviewed for the Cowboys job. As somebody who hates the Cowboys and as somebody who is a fan of Colorado, what are my thoughts? Well, I don't really see the purpose when you're the Cowboys or Dion. Your best attribute is your recruiting ability. There is no recruiting in the NFL, right? That takes away his best aspect. And I don't really see the point for anyone involved. If that's the case, you're most likely trading up with the Browns, right? So you're saying, what, are you going to trade Dak Prescott? Like, is that really the move? Like, it's the 12 pick and Dak Prescott for the 2 pick, and you're taking Shador? I mean, at that point, you might as well just move up to 1, right? Like, the Dak Prescott and the 12 pick to the Titans for number 1. Like, is that the move? Because I don't think Dion's coming to coach Dak Prescott. He literally said, if I'm on a team, my sons are coming with me. I just think it's kind of weird. I think Shador is genuinely a really good quarterback prospect. I think he's easily the best one in this draft. I think he's going to be actually pretty good, especially if he goes to the Giants. I really think it'd be a nice spot for him. I will admit it would be kind of fun for him to be in the Cowboys. I don't like the Cowboys, but it would actually be fun if Shador was there. It would be the only reason. The Cowboys are on TV so much, it would be fun if they actually had somebody I liked at quarterback. Not that I hate Dak Prescott. I just don't really like Dak Prescott. It doesn't do it for me. And I would enjoy watching Shador. I don't understand. It's going to suck if Dion leaves Colorado because I would just go to UNC and be a UNC guy and back Bill Belichick because that'd be really fun. But the problem is if UNC is what I meant to say, North Carolina. The problem with UNC is I can't be a UNC fan because their basketball team already has, so much. Like, that's the identity of the school. If you're wearing UNC gear, people are going to assume it's basketball, and I have no affiliation with their basketball team. I didn't like Roy Williams. I have nothing but respect for Dean Smith, but obviously they had that big scandal, and I'm sure there's other schools that do stuff like that, but theirs is especially bad. So I just can't go UNC. So I really hope Dion doesn't leave Colorado because I said wherever Dion goes, I go. And I just don't really want him to leave. But I'm starting to get scared that's where we're going. I will admit, if Shador was on the Cowboys, it would make the Cowboys significantly more interesting. And if just the goal here is to make the Cowboys interesting, I thought the goal was to win the Super Bowl, not to make them interesting. So from an interesting perspective, well, hell yeah, Dion being there and Shador being there would be crazy interesting. But from a winning the Super Bowl perspective, I don't think that does it. So I think it's weird. I really don't see it happening, but that might just be me coping with the fact I don't want it to happen. Let's get into the divisional round and preview every game. So we got Texans-Chiefs Saturday at 4:30. Like I said, at the beginning of the year, I thought C.J. Stroud was on the path to dethrone Patrick Mahomes. I did not expect this big of a sophomore slump. I think next year he's going to be back better than ever. Maybe next year I'll take them to be in the Super Bowl, potentially win it. But I just can't go back to that prediction. I mean, yes, they played really well against the Chargers. They dominated them. But I think you could be a prisoner of the moment and get caught up with them. And I'm not going to do that. I think the Chiefs will take care of business and beat them. It would be different if they weren't playing the Chiefs in the second round. Maybe I'd have a tendency to get more caught up in the moment, but I'm just not going to when it's the Chiefs. I'm just not going to. So I'm going to take the Chiefs to beat them Saturday at 4:30. I really don't think it'll be that good of a game either. I really don't. I think the Chiefs are going to take care of business here. Saturday at 8, like I said, a lot of people hyping this game up, and I don't think it's going to be one. I really think the Lions are going to take care of the Commies. I think the Lions' defense has been saving their best for the last few weeks of the season, and that's exciting. Lions' offense can keep up with the Commanders, and the Lions' defense is 10 times better than theirs. So to me, that just kind of answers that for me. So I just take the Lions to beat them. I got no qualms about it. Sunday at 3 p.m. is interesting. Rams-Eagles is spicy. Rams-Eagles is intriguing. I do think there's a path where the Rams win this game. Also, Jared Verse really sealing up that Defensive Rookie of the Year with that fumble recovery and touchdown. A little scoop and score there in the last game. That was fun. He also hit a fun celly diving into the end zone. Just wanted to state. There's really an argument that the Rams could win this and that would be fun. They got some great juju. They obviously have a bit of a story there with everything going out in L.A. I mean, a lot going on there. Part of me would like to pick the Rams, but it's honestly too much of a fun pick, right? I picked them against the Vikings. That was becoming the hot, sexy pick. Everybody was in on it, and we were right. I think this is probably the hot pick of this weekend, if I have to guess. I'm not sure what it's going to be. You kind of get the feel about a day before the games. I'm recording this on a Tuesday night. I'm willing to bet it's going to be Rams over Eagles just because most people don't mess with this Eagles team because on paper it's like the best team in the NFL, but with the coaching and the way they execute it, they're not even top 3. So just kind of a weird team that way. I'm willing to bet it's going to be a fun pick to take the Rams. A lot of people are going to be like, oh, I like the Rams this weekend. But I honestly think the Eagles will take care of business. I do. I think this Eagles team is good. I've had to respect that after being kind of down on them all year, and I think they'll beat the Rams. I really do. Sunday night at 6:30, we get a game that might end up being the best of the year. I really mean that. It actually might end up being the best of the entire year. I don't really think it's a crazy statement. I'm just checking to make sure I got these times right because I was telling you guys the times. Did I say 6:30 for this? Yeah, all right. So Sunday we get a game that might be the best of the entire year. Ravens-Bills Divisional Round. Sunday at 6:30. I really think this could be the best game of the year. I do. This could be better than either the conference championships or the Super Bowl. 2 teams that have been awesome all year. The 2 top candidates for MVP. The 2 best quarterbacks in the NFL this year. If you were just looking at this year, these guys have been the 2 best. Obviously, the best quarterbacks in the NFL, Mahomes comes first, then it's these 2. I really like Lamar Jackson. I really do. But it is undeniable to me that this is the most special Bills team I think Josh Allen has had. And I think this game will be awesome. And I think this game is going to go down as a certified hood classic. And I really think that this game will be remembered. I think it's going to be an incredible game. This game already feels special and it hasn't even gone on yet. I think it's going to be a great one. I think the Buffalo Bills are going to win it. They're 13-4 for a reason this year. 14-4, obviously, if you count their win against the Broncos last week. I think it's the best Bills team Josh Allen's had. I think this defense is very good. I think his offensive line lets him go through his progression like twice. Like an incredibly good offensive line that nobody talks about that, really. And I guess the argument would be the running game of the Ravens. They had a drive against the Steelers where all they did was run and they dominated them. They're not going to be able to do that on Buffalo. They're not. And Josh Allen will make an incredible play at any given moment. That's what he's been doing all year. This is that crazy touchdown in the back of the end zone he threw last week. Josh Allen has just been able to get it done this year. And if the Bills really make the Super Bowl like I think, it's going to be really hard for me to pick against them. I know I picked Lions over Bills. It's going to be a hard pick to pick against them if they get there. I think they are going to get there. And obviously to get there, they got to beat the Ravens. And that's what I think they're going to do Sunday night. I think it's going to be absolutely awesome. And I think they will beat the Ravens and move on to the AFC Championship to, of course, face the Kansas City Chiefs. Whew. Didn't they play each other in the 2022 AFC Championship? Right? Well, 2023 year, but 2022 season. I think they did. And then last year, the Bills lost to the Ravens in the divisional. So I'm taking the Bills to win. It's going to be awesome. That's going to set up a really fun NFL Championship Sunday. And we're just less than a month away from the Super Bowl in New Orleans. Super Bowl 59. What it all builds to. 8 teams left. 7 games left of NFL football this year. I really think this Ravens-Bills game is going to be special. It's going to be awesome. I cannot wait for it. All right. One last thing, then I'll let you go. Okay? Just one final thing. All right, switch the picture, and we'll talk about the NBA. So we're going to do a quick game. We're just going to test something out. I want you, I'm going to name a player, right? I'm going to name an NBA player, and you out loud say the first, when I say the player, you're obviously going to picture them in your mind because that's naturally what you're going to do. Like if I said, picture an elephant, you just pictured an elephant, right? If you didn't, you just really don't enjoy listening. And eventually that will come back to you. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard in some situations. People are trying to tell you stuff and you're just not listening. So, got to be less argumentative. Take it from me. Believe me, I know. I've had to learn that the hard way sometimes. But I'm going to name an NBA player, and you, in your mind, are going to picture them instantly. Out loud, say which jersey they're in. What color it is, what it looks like. If you're a big enough NBA fan, you can tell me what year it is, specifically do that. Here you go. Michael Jordan. You most likely said a red Chicago Bulls uniform, the ones that they wore in the 90s, with the black letters, with the white outlines, red jersey. Maybe you picture him in the white uniform with the red letters, the black outlines. That's fine too. And maybe, just maybe, you really have an attachment to the black Bulls uniform. Maybe the one with the red pinstripes that they wore in the late 90s. But those are probably those are the three. Most likely, I would be willing to bet it's the red uniform, right? Okay. Larry Bird. Probably the green Celtics, right? I'm probably not the white. Just realistically, I just think the green Celtics is more in my mind. Here's another one. Magic Johnson. Yellow Lakers, right? Probably not a purple jersey. Probably the yellow Lakers. But those are obviously the two options. Those are the only two jerseys he ever wore. Was the yellow Lakers and the purple Lakers uniform. I was back for the Lakers had white. Okay. Speaking of, Kobe Bryant. Okay, so maybe the white Lakers uniform, the yellow Lakers uniform, or the purple Lakers uniform. Those are the three. LeBron James. Lot of options, right? Lot of options. Me personally, I don't know why. I didn't even watch him at this time. But it's the navy blue early 2000s Cavs uniforms that say Cleveland across the chest. Hideous uniforms. I actually think it's some of the worst in the Cavs history. I don't know why that sticks out to me, but it is those. I really don't know why. I don't even like those unis. But it could be a lot for LeBron. All right, last one. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. For me, it's the orange ones that say OKC. You could have said the white OKC. You could have said a blue OKC. There's a chance you said a Clippers uniform. That'd be funny. Or any of the numerous Thunder City uniforms. Giannis Antetokounmpo. I lied. Sorry. We did one more. I just wanted to test it. For Giannis, what was it? Was it the Bucks black uniforms they won the title in with the stripes across? The old Bucks black uniform that had the big Buck logo in the middle? The green Bucks uniform, the white one, any of the city editions from over the years? What was it? So now you're probably wondering what the point of this all was. I have a bit of a bone to pick with the NBA because when they moved to the Nike uniforms, they introduced the idea that there are no home and aways. You can wear any jersey at any time. And at the time, I was younger, and I thought this was cool and fun, right? And they introduced these city uniforms that the MLB has now done a variation of this for the MLB also. It's supposed to reflect, something specific about your city, yada, yada. And it's led to some very cool designs. The best one, in my opinion, is the Miami Vice Heat uniforms, the black ones specifically. Those are perfect, and the Heat should have just switched to the white one, the black one, and then the teal one as their home, away, and alternate, respectively. I think that would have been perfect. They had a logo with it, of the Heat logo with the new color scheme. Would have went perfect, would have been a great new look for them in the 2020s. I think they really missed an opportunity there. They've been rocking the same uniforms since 2000 something. They should really mix it up. I think that would be awesome, right? So my problem with this system is, though, I think by having so many NBA uniforms, we've kind of killed the iconic nature of them. When you watch a Memphis Grizzlies game, for example, the crowd should all be in navy blue or white. Maybe there's some guys in some black, maybe like a black sweatshirt. For the most part, it should be the team's colors. But it's not going to be. It's going to be couple of weird colors because they've had some City Edition uniforms over the years that. Here, I'm just going to look up Grizzlies uniform history, and I can run you down each one of their City uniforms from over the years. So obviously the base Grizzlies uniform is white, and then they have a navy blue, an alternate powder blue, and they have a black City uniform. Year before that, they also had a black City uniform. Year before that, they had another navy blue. So Memphis, you're like, oh, okay, well, they don't really play around with their City colors that much. But then we keep going back, and their City uniform had yellow on it, and a very bright yellow, and then they had black with gold and like a weird green on the side. So Memphis really isn't that bad, honestly. The color scheme, they stay pretty in the pocket when it comes to theirs. Let's try the LA Lakers, one of the NBA's most iconic teams. So obviously they have the white, the yellow, and the purple. Now, I will state the Lakers have absolutely ruined their uniforms. They used to have some of the most iconic in the NBA. And when they went to Nike, they changed their yellow to this banana yellow and ruined their unis because they used to be perfect. And now they look like the banana yellow is bad. They used to have more of a gold, and it was awesome. And they kind of ruined it. So, and by kind of, I mean completely. They completely ruined it. So, just absolutely bad. But that's a sidebar. Anyways, 2018, their City uniform was really cool. It was black. It's the Kobe one, the Black Mamba uniforms. Those are awesome, right? 2019, their City uniforms were purple with black pinstripes. So once again, still in the team's color range, right? Where's their City edition for 2020? It was a yellow one. That was like the Shaq, honoring Shaq, right? So that's fine. Then their City was blue. Okay, so now we're starting to get into some colors that aren't really in the Lakers color scheme. I know it's paying homage to the retro Lakers, but it's still not in the Lakers color scheme. So then, the year after that, they have a purple and blue uniform. Then the City the next year is white and purple. And then the City last year was black with purple and yellow, and it looks awful. Wow, that's really bad. And then this year, it's this weird black-purple fade look. So even the Lakers are trying to keep it in the pocket. They're not trying to go too far away from their color scheme. Let's go to a team that doesn't care. Golden State Warriors. Their City edition this year has red with navy blue with yellow. There is no red in the Warriors color scheme. There is in the classics, I will say, and their classic uniform is perfect. I love that classic Warriors uniform. It is awesome. Then they had the San Francisco ones that were black and yellow. They added black for the City edition uniforms, which black is not really in the Warriors color scheme, but it is now apparently. And they've done that for multiple City editions. They've just kind of added black randomly because they were going off the town. Just kind of weird. And some teams have really gotten wild with it. The Nets always do these bright colors. They go all over the place. The Cavs have done crazy stuff. They've had a powder blue this year. They did one that was like pretty much with the old color scheme, but they like bounce around some. The Boston Celtics have had like neon green stuff. And I guess what this is all building to is when you look at a stadium, it should realistically all be kind of similar jerseys because, it's the iconicness. Lakers games should be full of yellow, purple, and white uniforms. But because of the City editions, we're getting all these like weird variations, and I think it's just kind of killed some of the iconicness of the uniforms, and it's killed seeing some of the players in these uniforms. It's you look at any Bulls jersey and you think of Michael Jordan. You do. Whereas we're not going to have that with like Oklahoma City Thunder Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or Minnesota Timberwolves Anthony Edwards or even Bucks Giannis because he's worn so many uniforms while underneath the Bucks. He's been at the Bucks his entire career, right? His entire career. And I will pull up. I won't even count variations, right? I won't count. I'm going to pull up the Bucks uniform history, okay? And we're going to count how many different uniforms Giannis has worn. So we're not going to count the rebrand because he was there for a couple years and they rebranded to a new scheme. We won't count that. We'll just say that's 3 jerseys, right? Here we go. 3 uniforms. Then there's a classic uniform in 2018 and a city uniform in 2018. So that's 5, right? Then they had a city and an earned edition, which was like another alternate that like played off the city. So now we're at 7. Then they had the cream city uniforms. Who could forget? And they changed the alternate black one. We're not going to count it just to be nice. So we'll keep it at 8. Then he had a city edition and an earned in 2021. And then they did another city edition. I don't know why, but they did. They changed it for some reason. Oh, why? What happened here? Is this accurate? Why did they change? Huh. Okay. That's weird. So that's 10. And they had a 2022 city uniform. Oh, that was a nice one. I actually got to admit. That's 11. Then in 2023, they changed their alternate once again. So the black alternate is different. So that's 12. And then a city and a classic. And this is a different classic. So that's 14. Then the city for this year. Sorry, the city for 2024, which is 15. The city for this year, which is 16. Yeah, that's it. Okay, we're done. Whew. My point being, 16 different Milwaukee Bucks uniforms. Let's go to Michael Jordan. He got there in 1985. The Bulls changed their look in 1986. You know, we're going to be hard on the Bulls. He's now wore 4 different uniforms. Now, let's go through Michael Jordan's whole career. Oh, there's the black alternates with the pinstripes. Oh, they took away the pinstripes for 98, they took away the pinstripes. So that's 2 separates. So that makes it Michael Jordan wore 6 uniforms in his entire NBA career. Now, for the sake of this podcast length, we will not count how many different uniforms LeBron James has wore. But I am saying the reason I use Giannis as the example is because Giannis has played for one team his entire career. So did Michael Jordan. Yet Giannis has wore 16 different uniforms, and Michael Jordan has wore 6. That's absurd. That is absurd. Absolutely absurd. And they've also played about the same amount of time. Technically, Michael Jordan played for the Wizards. I understand that. I was just counting the Bulls years. I will admit, I had to point that out. But if we were also looking at it, we counted, 13 years of Giannis, right? Well, he was drafted 2013, so 12 years of Giannis, and we counted 14 years of Jordan. So similar, right? We actually counted more Jordan, but had 10 less jerseys. I think it's hurting the NBA when it comes to the iconicness. I think part of what makes the NFL so strong is the fact that hardly ever do the teams change logos, change their uniforms. It's very iconic, it's very set in stone. And I'm not against the NBA teams changing their logos, changing their uniforms. That's all fine and dandy. But I will say at some point you do lose a little bit of iconicness when there's just so much out there. NBA on NBC released an ad the other day with Wemby, Giannis, and Jason Tatum. I really recommend you look it up. I really think the NBA on NBC is going to save the NBA and make it more fun and popular again. I think they're going to treat it like it's a big deal and try to make people care about it again and market it better. I really do. I think they're going to do a better job marketing it. And I would like the NBA to be popular and fun. And I think right now they just kind of have the idea that the NBA is for children. And while it kind of is, I think it could be more than that. So, I think it used to be, obviously. So it'd be nice to get back to that. But that's all from me. Hopefully this wasn't too much, whining and complaining. And hopefully you thought I made an interesting point. Make sure you enjoy the NFL playoffs this weekend because when we get to the NBA, there's a little more whining and moaning. Whereas the NFL, I'm just having a good old time. See you all. I think Ravens Bills is going to be certified hood classics. Make sure you tune in.